mortars as masons in one form or another. Now, if you're using we'll do a hydraulic lime mix so you can see the difference in a minute. What you get with either a putty lime or with a quick lime mix is a very plastic material, a very sticky plastic material. I mean, that doesn't want to fall off my fingers. So with a hydraulic lime you don't. I mean, it's quite slippy slidey. It doesn't, you wouldn't be able to turn your trowel over and have it not fall off. With this you could. One way of counteracting or getting a bit more fattiness into a hydraulic lime mortar is to put limestone dust into your aggregate. So just one part of your aggregate is a limestone dust. In this area, what most of these buildings, I've not looked, but I'm sure the house we live in, but in Malton and all around this area, most of the masonry buildings are built, and this goes back to bond strength and not needing massive compressive strength, are built with mud mortar. So all the stonework, although it's limestone, is laid in mud mortar, and from what we've seen when we've taken these structures down, the mud mortar, they're using mud at a very, very sloppy consistency. Where are you from?
From India.
Right,
Yeah, we do use mud mortars.
Yeah, I mean, I've sort of...
So is it only mud or do you mix anything with it?
We don't think so, not especially... Hay,
Yeah,
grass,
hay and
yeah.
some jute fibers.
Yeah.
We also use it with mud.
yeah. Well, I know there was one of your colleagues on this course a few years ago from Bhutan, and she gave me a load of slides of mud masonry in Bhutan. But what was noticeable there was that the plasters were very, very liquid. And we've worked on several projects where we've tried to reproduce the pattern in this country, and NAGSO worked with me on one of them. And we found that to be the most successful with mud, that you're right at the liquid limit. So you're using it at the point where you can't get any more water in it without it turning to slurry.
Yeah.
And that's how you're applying it. But that's certainly how they were building with it as well. But they're getting very good bond. That's giving, with the clay content, which is not necessarily very high, but for whatever reason, they're getting a very good bond between the masonry and the mortar, which is mud. So again, this idea that you need a lot of strength in your mortar is totally confounded by the fact that these buildings are built with mud mortar. The other thing that is utterly confounded, and that's one of my pet obsessions, and Ben's too perhaps, is that as a conservator I've come across mud mortars all over the country, and the standard wisdom has always been, well, the people were too poor, that they couldn't afford lime, or they weren't anywhere near limestone, and that might be true in Scotland, but in this area we obviously see limestone bedded in mud. And I found specifications recently from the estate there for the builders where there's